Welcome to the Safety Starts at Home Quiz Show Seniors Edition, presented by Peel Crime Stoppers. This event was reported live at Square One Shopping Centre. Play along as we put your safety smarts to the test by trying to answer all 10 multiple-choice questions. Then listen in as we confirm the answers with our special guests on stage, our first responders panel from Peel Police, Mississauga Fire, and Peel Paramedics. Good luck.
Scammers are targeting our senior community, posing as their favorite grandson or their favorite granddaughter. And unfortunately, some of our senior community are giving up that particular name. And that's giving some fuel to the scammers' little shtick there, their scam, in order to continue it. Now, it's very important that they're going to try to get you to remain on the phone. They're going to be very, very convincing. They're going to make you believe that it's the police that's calling, that somebody's one of your family members are in peril, or they're in jeopardy, they're locked up in jail, or they may need $5,000 bail, or their car's been impounded, or they need several $1,000s in order to get the car out, or they've been involved in some sort of serious emergency car accident, or they're in the hospital. They may even put somebody on the phone pretending to be that police officer, that lawyer, that doctor. It is not the case. It's very important that you know about these, because unfortunately they are targeting seniors, and that you do confirm. They're going to ask you, don't hang up the phone, you need to deal with this right away. A fraud, what they're trying to do, is elicit an emotional response and make you make an impulse decision. Slow things down. You want to say, okay, you got the information, thanks very much. Right? If you have another cell phone, contact or a landline, contact that family member and confirm with them. And confirm until you get a hold of somebody. Okay? If that's the grandson or granddaughter that you're contacting and you're going to get a hold of them, ensure that you call another family member or friend to confirm this. And oftentimes, I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a fraud, it's going to be a scam. You do not want to give any personal information over the phone. But if so happens you do receive one of those phone calls and you do, I gotta let somebody know, you can contact the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. Okay? You can either do it online, or there's a phone number associated with them, and they keep a load of stats on all the different frauds and the different types of frauds that are out there. So in your spare time after this, please check out the Canadian Anti-Fraud website for further information, as well as plpolice.ca.
Cooking fires are actually the #1 cause of fires in the home. So it's really important when we're cooking, we have our pot lid or pan lid really close by. If a fire does break out, you want to cover that immediately, block the air from getting to the fire. And if you don't have the lid of the pot, use a cookie sheet. That works too. Just don't put any paper, nothing combustible on top of the fire. It's also really important that you keep the entire stovetop area free and clear of different things like tea towels, paper bags, anything that could catch fire, because that's going to make it a lot worse. So once you've covered your pot or pan, turn off the heat that's causing the fire, right? And just leave it, and leave it until it's cool. This could be a while, but leave it and don't touch it until it is definitely cool, much later.
one of the things we look for when it comes to falls is we're looking for clues in the environment. We're also checking for responsiveness. And also, we are doing a head-to-toe assessment. So the clues that we look for in the environment could be things that are around the area, like such as a ladder where you may have been climbing up. Or maybe you had a grandchild that left a toy on the floor. Or maybe there are hazards such as like ice outside, right? So those are kinds of things we can see. Also, there may be damage to the wall, or maybe there was a damage to a dresser, or maybe some blood on it. That helps us understand that maybe as you were falling, you might have struck something on the way down. And that allows us to have an indication as to how you position yourself or how you're positioned on the floor.
Let me ask you this though, what happens when we're at home and our partner has fallen? I think our automatic reaction, we want to help our loved one. What do you advise we do? Do we help them up? Do we call 911? What should we do in the first course of action?
Well, there are a lot of variables that come with this, but I would say the general recommendation is you call 911.
Okay.
So if you have an elderly and a loved one, instead of trying to pick them up, what can happen is you may have to end up taking the whole load of that patient's weight, right? Or your loved one's weight. And then not only that, what would happen was, instead of having just one patient, you may have two, right? So you want to be careful of those kind of things. And then if you call 911 and you have the paramedics come, you can at least have the peace of mind that we've done an assessment, we check their vitals, and if we need to, we can go to the hospital. But if best case scenario is maybe it's just a lift assist, and we can help your loved one up, maybe bring them over to a chair and go watch TV once again.
There are various number of deterrents and strategies that we can put in place to keep our vehicles safe. One thing, most important thing, if you happen to have a garage, utilize it. Don't stick your, all your junk that you've stored for years on end. And if we're seniors, there's probably a lot of years worth of junk that we have.
Hey,
yeah,
what are you talking about?
It's not, I'm not, no ages in here or anything like that. It's just we've accumulated a lot of stuff, right? So maybe it's time to purge some of that stuff and actually use our garage for the vehicle. Other techniques and tactics is utilizing such things as steering wheel locks, brake locks, other devices out there, and a lot of vehicles these days, and majority of us have vehicles with key fobs similar to the one I'm holding right now. Now, one of the ways criminals are stealing vehicles is stealing the radio frequency from our key fobs. So it's a good option to consider. Keep those key fobs away from the door. If not, put them in what's called a Faraday bag or a Faraday box. What that is essentially, it's a box or a bag that's lined with metal, and the frequency cannot be obtained because your fob consistently is communicating with your vehicle back and forth. And criminals are utilizing technology to steal and intercept it, called a relay theft, to steal that information. I personally use a tin can that I purchased at the dollar store. You have to try it out though. Other people have utilized, maybe my colleague talks about a shoebox that he lines with tin foil or foil tape, not duct tape, but foil tape, some sort of metal tape in order to block that radio frequency. Regardless of what you purchase or what you create, you should test it out. Ensure that you're going up with that key inside that device, testing the door lock, see if it functions. If it doesn't work, then you know it's working. Even try it with inside the vehicle. If you get inside the vehicle, push the ignition start, to which point if it doesn't work, then you know it's a better option for there. But unfortunately, that's not the only way that vehicles are being stolen these days. Unfortunately, some criminals are using devices after they break into the vehicle and reprogram their own keys. So they don't even need your keys. They're going to use your VIN number, which was readily accessible in your dash. So it's another suggestion too. And I think, Anwar, we're probably going to bring that one up. I'm going to steal it from you. It's covering that VIN number in your dash.
Right.
that VIN number that's accessible with a piece of paper on the inside. It just creates an extra layer of deterrent, an extra layer of time that these criminals require that information in order to type in through their device to reprogram a key.
When we're having an emergency, sometimes we panic and we don't really know what to do. And especially if you have mobility issues, or if you have a hearing impairment or visual impairment, we actually have a tool called the Vulnerable Persons Registry. You can register beforehand. You can register today. And there's a couple of different ways you can register. There's the website, we have an email address, or you can call 311. Once you register, so you give your information, you give your address, the idea is if fire needs to come to your home for an emergency, they already have a lot of information about you and about your specialized needs. So they are coming a lot more prepared to help you, and they can give you a little bit, I guess, better attention that you might require. So by doing that and registering, you are preparing yourself and you're preparing the people who might need to help you one day to best assist you.
So this is basically a flag on your address. If you call 911, so emergency responders already know they have a special circumstance.
%54% of break-in enters that happen in Peel are through the front door. Generally, the way it works is most break-in enters usually happen during daytime when nobody's home.
Right.
So the person will actually come to your front door, knock on your door, and see if anybody's home. If nobody answers, they'll kind of leave and come back again, do the exact same thing. If they realize that no one's home, next thing you know, their foot is going right through the front door, they're breaking in, and they're doing what they have to do. Way back, when someone comes to the door, you'd actually run to the door and welcome them in. Come on in, take out the frozen cake that's in your freezer,
That's right.
and share it with the family. But now things have changed. Now, as soon as someone comes to your door and rings your doorbell or locks your door, people all of a sudden become ninjas and they hide and they try and avoid the door as if it's a plague.
Right.
So we don't want that. We want you to acknowledge that you're home. I'm not saying that you open the door and say hello, but at least the door is not bulletproof, it's not soundproof. So if you speak through the door and acknowledge that you're home, hello, can I help you? And especially if you can't see who it is, because most people have either the peephole or a little side window on the side of the door. If you could see who it is and don't recognize the person, say, hello, can I help you?
Through the door.
Through the door. Never open the door. Don't rely on those chains or those latches, because realistically they're only put in with maybe an 1.25 inch screw.
Yes.
So it doesn't take much for that to be pushed down. So through the door, acknowledge that you're home. And if you feel that person, you don't recognize that person, and the person does not want to leave and they insist that they want to see you and they want you to open the door, maybe at this point you ask them, listen, if you don't leave, I will call the police, non-emergency at this point.
Right.
But if they start kicking your door, that's when it becomes an emergency, 911. And the reason why we tell you to answer the door, because if you don't acknowledge you're home,
Sure.
then the person on the other side sees that there's nobody home. Next thing you know, they're kicking your door.
With you
Next
inside.
thing you know, you're inside. Now it's almost like a home invasion at this point, because now your life is at threat, and who knows what they're going to come in for.
So that's another takeaway. Just say not interested. Don't say you're a senior. Don't say you're alone. Don't say anything. Say, I'm not interested. Thank you.
if you're looking at any of these, chest pain or tightness is more for the heart.
Okay.
Sudden paralysis of face, arm, or leg are more for like strokes. And difficulty breathing will be any kind of respiratory distress. It can include asthma, an allergic reaction, so on and so forth. It could also be like chronic issues like bronchitis or COPD.
Marlo, it is known as the silent killer in our homes.
That's right, and because it is odorless, that is why it is so important for you to have carbon monoxide detectors in your home. So if you have any fuel burning appliances in your home or an attached garage, you need to have a carbon monoxide detector outside the sleeping area. And if your detector goes off, we don't want you doing anything within your home. We don't want you looking for the source, because what you need to do is you need to leave your home and call 911 from outside. I also sometimes have people ask if you should open the windows, but it's better just to leave your home, because we want to be able to go in and determine what the carbon monoxide levels are in the home as well. So leave your home, call 911. And speaking of alarms, I just want to add in that it's also really important that you have working smoke alarms in your home as well. So just a little reminder to always test our alarms every month so we can make sure that they're working.
Chris from Peel Paramedics, explain this. It's under the Community Paramedic Program, correct?
That's correct, yes. It's a special team called Community Paramedicine. And the way I would describe them is they are the quality of life improvers, right? And what they do is they provide medical support in home, right, for the residents of Peel Region.
So this can be a referral through a doctor. It also could be some community support services. And in some cases, it may be a paramedic that's actually responding to a call and sees there may be some extra help needed here, correct?
That's correct. So even frontline paramedics can refer you to the community paramedic program. And so like, let's say the initial incident was a 911 call. And then the frontline paramedics may have assessed the environment, assessed the patient, and maybe even the caregiver. And they realize they can benefit from the community paramedicine program. And in addition to that, what I want to note about this is we're not only looking at the patient that we are attending to, but we're also looking at the caregiver. So if there's services that we can provide or resources for the caregiver to prevent them from caregiver burnout, we can provide those resources as well.
It is, in fact, all crimes. And this is really about the community coming together with the police as well as the media.
That's
Mr.
correct.
Medano.
Yes. We work together with Crime Stoppers, but we're two separate amenities. Crime Stoppers is to keep you anonymous. So we want the public, the community, to be our eyes out there. And if they see something, say something. And that's the model that Crime Stoppers uses generally all around North America. That's their model. So what we want you to do is remember that whatever tip that you put in, it's anonymous. We will not know who you are or where you're calling from. So if you go to peelcrimestoppers.ca, all the information is there regarding how you can submit a tip. It is something that maybe has happened, but if a crime is in progress, don't use Crime Stoppers. Call 911. We've had tips come in for impaired drivers leaving the bar right now. You know, that's
Right.
not a tip. That's in progress. We need to catch that person before they hurt somebody. So if it's something that's happening now, call 911. If it's something that has happened and you have information, you want to supply the information, help people out in your community, then you can provide the information to Crime Stoppers.
Really good distinction. Thank you for that.
Our system is linked up to all North American major cities. So we get tips from the U.S. about something happening here in Brampton, and it's one big program that helps us out. So
Right.
it is very successful. We appreciate every tip that we get. We follow up on every tip. Every officer is investigating this tip. Rather if it's something true or not, we still do a follow-up investigation.
Listen, I want to give a big round of applause for all of our special guests here from Peel Police, Mississauga Fire, and Peel Paramedics. Weren't they awesome? And most importantly, thank each and every one of you for joining us today. We hope you're going to take some of this information and propel safety in your own homes, because safety starts at...
The Safety Starts at Home quiz show Seniors Edition has been presented by Peel Crime Stoppers and generously supported by community partners, including the Ontario Government, Square One Shopping Centre, and Coffee Culture Cafe and Eatery.